You act like you stole Goku's body for some noble cause! It's genocide! Ha!
You speak of crimes, but what you've done is far worse! You've torn reality itself into pieces!
I what?
By changing the past, you produced a new time ring, then sparked a series of events that disrupted reality even more. What I saw in that ring box is a testament to the unforgivable chaos you wreaked upon the cosmos. How many times have you traveled between past and future?
We know everything you've done. You, a lowly mortal, have repeatedly committed an act so egregious it's taboo even for the gods.
You first defied time to save Goku when he was supposed to die of a heart illness, isn't that right? If he had died as history originally recorded, time would not have been split. He would never have challenged me, and I would not have had to take his body.
There would not be an alliance of Zamasus from two separate timelines. The warping you caused made this possible. All this horror, as you deem it, it all begins with you. Don't blame us for our righteous judgment. Blame yourself.
And the rest of you mortals who defiled and twisted reality. That time machine proves mortal arrogance, and why you cannot be allowed to live. Don't listen to their nonsense. We are curing creation from a sickness, saving it from the scourge of mortal kind.
Open your eyes. You are a vile sinner.
You both enabled and inspired us.
You helped to light the flame of our justice. You helped to launch Project Zero Mortal.
So the next time you mourn your people, remember they're dead because of you.
All I've ever tried to do is save people from walking nightmares like you! You say my choices make me evil? Then that's what I'll be! It's not about gods and mortals! You don't believe in anything but yourself, and we won't let you win! This is the power of mortals fighting for each other! The power of believing in something bigger than just you!
Insolence!
Future Trunks, one of Dragon Ball's greatest characters. A lot of people love Future Trunks, but a lot of people seem to not have really messed with Future Trunks. I mean, because of Dragon Ball Super. I mean, we've seen how he came back and how he looked. A lot of people didn't like that because a lot of people still don't like Dragon Ball Super to this day. Like, a lot of people believe it ruined Dragon Ball, or it's just not as great as Dragon Ball Z. I mean, I think Dragon Ball Super is okay. I mean, obviously it's not better than Z, but I like Dragon Ball Super. There's nothing to hate on, and plus the potential future things we could see in Dragon Ball Super, like the Black Frieza arc or what comes after that. So it's just a lot of things to be hyped about for Dragon Ball Super, and I like the ideas that Dragon Ball Super actually have. For example, the Goku Black arc, amazing arc, but terrible ending. I'm pretty sure all of us can agree the ending for the Goku Black arc was terrible, and you can see a lot of disappointment with the fans for the way the Goku Black arc ended, because Trunks, I mean, he was a fan favorite character. Everybody loved Trunks. He has one of the best introductions in anime, in my opinion. I mean, the way he pulled up this turn Super Saiyan out of nowhere, because at that point we had saw Goku just get Super Saiyan, and then Trunks comes out of nowhere and beats Frieza. Mind you, Frieza was hyped up to be the strongest person in the show at that point, and then you have somebody come in and take him out like that. Because remember how much of a fight Frieza put up against Goku at that point. I mean, Goku went Super Saiyan, he was still fighting and fighting, but Trunks just came and freaking took him out. He was supposed to be the strongest character, and then this random person comes in and takes him out like he's nothing. That is one of the coldest introductions, bro. And the way he just went Super Saiyan, and then we saw it was another Super Saiyan. So easily one of the most coldest introductions, and why a lot of people have Trunks as their favorite character. This is because how cold he was in DBZ, but it feels like in Super they kind of took this element away, and the way he was getting beat down by Goku Black and all that, and embarrassed, it's like he had this element of this coldness that's taken away from him. also Goku Black. I feel like Goku Black, I mean, he was a pretty good villain because Dragon Ball likes to recycle villains a lot. We see that because they brought back Cell for a movie in the form of Cell Max. They also brought back Frieza for Resurrection F, and now Frieza's the villain again for the next arc for Black Frieza. So you can see they like to recycle villains a lot. I mean, sure, they've had new villains like Gas. I mean, they had new characters like Granola, but they like to recycle villains for like big main arcs or like movies. So it's pretty amazing and refreshing to see new villains in Dragon Ball because we want to learn about their characterization, their motivations, why they do what they do, character design. I mean, we want these new characters, and Goku Black, I mean, he delivered on that. I mean, we had already seen evil Goku. I mean, if you look at Turles, but that was a movie. But at the same time, Goku Black was just something fresh, and his motivations were quite different than compared to other Dragon Ball villains. Dragon Ball normally gets abused because a lot of people claim Dragon Ball doesn't have great writing, but I don't think you need super good writing to have a good anime. I mean, Dragon Ball proves that. I mean, Dragon Ball has a lot of bad writing, but people still love it. It doesn't have to be some super complex story like Attack on Titan or Vinland Saga or something like that. But yeah, a lot of the villains in Dragon Ball, I mean, they don't have super complex motivations for what they are doing. I mean, let's look at Frieza, for example. Frieza just wanted to rule the universe, but I guess just because he felt like it was his purpose. He wanted to rule over the universe, be stronger than everybody. I mean, look at Cell. He was basically an evil Goku. He wanted to be the strongest, and he wanted to make sure nobody was stronger than him. That's just his one goal. He wanted to be perfect and be the strongest. Look at Boo. Boo just wanted to destroy everything. He was just destined to go around blowing up planets, galaxies. I mean, I don't know much about Moro, so I can't really tell you on that because I haven't really looked at the Dragon Ball Super manga. So let's just ignore that for now. But most of the villains just had some type of one goal where they wanted power, or they wanted to rule over the universe. Mostly power. That's a lot of the themes. Most of the villains in Dragon Ball just want power. However, when it came to Zamasu or Goku Black, he saw a flaw in mortals. He saw a flaw that violence was something that occurred in mortals. Kind of like how violence in this world is just full of humans. Humans take place in violence every day. I mean, it's just their nature to do so. So instead of Goku Black or Zamasu wanting power, I mean, he kind of wanted power, but at the same time, he wanted the power to wipe out the mortals and create his own utopia, yada, yada, yada. But I mean, Frieza, I mean, he was immortal, so he didn't see that. But Goku Black was looking down from a god's perspective, and he seen how the gods allowed mortals to go on and be sinful. And when he saw Goku, that really pushed it, because he saw Goku was able to reach to these levels of a god to where they could be a threat to the gods. They were able to go into divine energy and unlock that, and then he believed that they could be a threat to the gods and take out the gods that day. And he seen Goku, he was a mortal that achieved godhood. So what if all these other mortals achieved godhood? Would they be threats to the gods? Would they overthrow the gods one day? So he had to do something about it. So he became Goku Black and enacted the Zero Mortals plan. And this was to take out all mortals. I mean, he killed the gods too, so I guess that, but I guess he believed the gods were sinners because they allowed mortals to get this strong, and they allowed mortals to be sinful and continuing cycles of violence. I honestly feel like that's more deep than Frieza, Cell, Jiren. I feel like what I just said right there is more deep than you could say about the motivations of Cell and Frieza. I mean, if you think Cell and Frieza are like better written villains, put it in the comments and tell me. I mean, I love an explanation. So if you believe that, go to the comments. Yeah, but let's get to the main idea of this video, the ending of the Goku Black arc. God, this ending was horrible, man. It was horrible. I don't think anybody likes this ending, if I'm being honest. So if you don't know about the ending, I forgot about it. Basically, the merge Zamasu thing happened and Trunks lost his timeline. It got completely erased. So everything he worked hard for was pretty much meaningless in the end. Mind you, this is all of the characterization of Trunks. He worked so hard to save his timeline. Mind you, everybody was dead in the future. Piccolo, Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, everybody died in Trunks' future. He put so much hope and faith into trying to save, and when he came back to the main timeline and he trained in a hyperbolic time chamber and he was strong enough to go back, he went back, he defeated the androids and defeated Cell, and at the end he gave that thank you to Goku and all the others for helping him get stronger and protect his timeline. So why couldn't it just stay like that? Why did he have to lose his timeline? All the stuff Trunks went through, he had to get stronger, and basically it all became meaningless because he lost the timeline. Everything he worked hard for, he lost. That's a lot of frustration I see with fans in Dragon Ball Super who saw Trunks and they just saw that he worked hard for everything just to lose it. And I can understand where that frustration comes from, because I'm still pretty mad about that ending to this day. Now, a lot of people know about the Sparking Zero what if he stayed in the main timeline and participated in the Tournament of Power. I feel like that should have happened, bro, because making him go to a timeline where he already existed with Mai, and then basically it would have been another version of him and Mai in that timeline, and Trunks was just like okay with it. He was like, oh, it'd be another me. Well, there's double the protection, so it doesn't really matter. Goodbye, everyone. Horrible ending for the character. All of everything he did was meaningless. Do the writers understand what they were doing when they was making the ending of this arc? I mean, the arc had a very good concept. I like the theme of denying fate, the consequences behind denying fate, and how they dealt with that. For example, they kept talking about how much time travel was a sin in this arc, and then Goku brings Zeno from a completely different timeline. Remember, the gods talk about how much of a sin time travel is, and Goku and them was doing that like all the way back before the android showed up. Like, the gods in Dragon Ball do not do their job. They are horrible at doing their job. You would think the Grand Priest of Zeno would have noticed that Goku Black was going around killing all the Supreme Kais. The Grand Priest of Zeno didn't notice this. Like, come on. And then they back to the point, they talk about how much of a sin time travel is in Dragon Ball, and then Goku brings Zeno from the future Trunks timeline to the present. He brings him to the main timeline, Zeno and the Grand Priest, and they say nothing, like it wasn't a sin. They should have erased Goku on the spot if it was a sin when they saw him bring another Zeno, but nope. It's just all cool. Let's have fun. Let's play games. Just no consequences at all. So that was thrown out the window as well. Time travel being a sin was thrown out the window if Zeno and the Grand Priest didn't care. So, yeah. I don't even think the writers were thinking straight when they were making the Goku Black arc towards the end. Also, time travel. The time travel concept is probably a little hard, to make a story or write about, because everybody knows time travel in Dragon Ball works different than time travel you would think. I mean, regular time travel, you think you would just go back in time, you would be able to meet your grandfather, and basically if you kill your grandfather or something, it would stop you from existing. But if you did that in Dragon Ball time travel, that wouldn't happen. In time travel, you basically go back in time in a parallel universe. So that's like me going back and killing, let's say, I assassinate somebody important. If I went back in time and I assassinated that person, it would create a parallel universe. So the person would be assassinated in that time, but when I come back to my present time, they would still have the original way they died. That's pretty much how time travel in Dragon Ball works. It works based off multiverse theory, and if you don't know multiverse theory, it's basically a theory dealing with multiple universes. But let's go to this idea. Did Trunks deserve to get his timeline erased? Because if we go back to the theme of denying fate, how much denying fate is a sin in Dragon Ball, of how the gods talk about time travel is forbidden and all of this, let's just say it matters. Did Trunks deserve to get his timeline erased? Was Goku Black and Zamasu, or just Zamasu, was right about Trunks meddling through time and pretty much denying fate? Because I believe there's 4 timelines in Dragon Ball, maybe more. I've heard of the unseen timeline, the original timeline, the future Trunks timeline, and the main timeline. Cell is also another factor. Cell is actually from the original timeline. So Cell actually, I believe, went back in time and created the future Trunks timeline and the main timeline we see today, where all the events take place, like Battle of Gods, etc. But I believe Trunks' timeline shouldn't have gotten erased, even if people believe Goku Black is right. Because some of you probably will believe Goku Black is right about the sinfulness of denying fate and all of that. But how are they supposed to know if time travel is such a sin to the gods and they seen mortals using it and never did nothing? How is it such a sin? I mean, the gods in Dragon Ball is horrible at their jobs. They preach about all these laws and stuff you gotta follow, but they never enact on them. I mean, we Beerus really didn't even care because the damage was already done that Trunks created. When Trunks warped through these timelines, he created like points to where you can travel to both timelines. So Trunks, I mean, they really didn't know, but think about it like this. He had to save everybody. He just wanted to save his future. He just wanted to stop the destruction and tragedy in his world. Everybody was dead, and going back in time was like the only hope of that. Mind you, Trunks had nobody to train with in his timeline. Everybody was dead. He didn't know about the hyperbolic time chamber, and if he kept fighting originally without going back in time and getting stronger, he would have died. Everybody would have probably have died by the androids, or Cell would have eventually came along, became perfect, and just terrorized the universe or something. Like when Trunks went to the main timeline, he had dreamed about basically his reality being super peaceful and just having a good time. I mean, he had the motivation of love. He just wanted to have a peaceful world and all of that, and it seems like time travel was the only way to complete that. I mean, Goku Black may be right, because time travel does have big consequences. You can create paradoxes and other things, but he also saved our main timeline heroes that we know today, that we see when we watch Dragon Ball. He saved them from the same future that he experienced. He saved everybody from dying when he came back and gave Goku the heart medicine. Just because Goku survived, everybody pretty much lived. And Trunks inherently saved billions of lives. He saved universes. He saved everything because of Goku being alive. For example, if Goku wasn't alive, he wouldn't have made it to the tournament of power. Zeno would have erased all of the universes and everybody. But Goku was alive to push that event. Goku was alive to push most of the events, which saved tons of lives. And that was all thanks to Trunks giving him the heart medicine. So Trunks saved so many lives in the process of denying fate. Trunks' motivation was out of love and desperation. I mean, he saved tons of people. And to be fair, he didn't know time travel was wrong, because the gods are such buttholes at doing their jobs. So I honestly believe Trunks was justified. He saved millions of lives, and I don't think his timeline should have gotten erased. You could probably argue that since he went back through time, he sinned and he deserves this. If you believe that, put it in the comments, but I believe Trunks was completely justified. This is also very similar to the Spider-Man things, the canon events. We can look at them as canon events, like everybody dying, Goku dying from the heart virus, and everybody getting killed by the android. It was just a canon event, and Trunks altered that from happening. It's like the same thing they're doing in Spider-Verse right now. I mean, I think Miles was trying to stop his dad from dying, and it was a canon event, but at the same time he's trying to alter it so it has consequences, so it brings back of that theme of fate versus free will. Really interesting stuff, but it's very, very similar to that. Miguel and Trunks wouldn't get along. One's all about canon events happening and you shouldn't alter things, and the other person alters things. These two characters would not get along. But let me ask you this question. If you lived in a world where it was just a ton of destruction and a ton of death, your loved ones dying, everybody you knew cared about, and they all died, but you had one choice to save them, one choice to change everything, one choice to restore peace, but it was at the price of a sin. Remember, all your family members are dying, the entire world is in tragedy, everybody you know and love is dying, but you had one choice to save them, but it was a sin to save them, but you didn't know. Would you save them? Put it in the comments. But I want to end this video. It's getting a bit too long. Give me your opinions on this video and, you know, the whole Trunks denying fate. Do you think his timeline was supposed to be erased? Did he deserve to get it erased? Or what you think they could have done better for the ending of the Goku Black arc? Because the ending was horrendous. But if you watched this long, thank you for watching, and I am out.